Videos on YouTube are going downhill. Or are they? We're gonna be talking about all that and more, but first, coffee. Now today's beans are from Nicaragua. Why don't you try some of this hot chocolate? Mococo. It's from the mountains of Mount Nicaragua? Can't remember exactly how the quote goes, but it was something like that. I don't actually have the grinder. I forgot to bring the grinder. Okay, so I've been thinking about this topic for a little while, and then the reason I actually decided to make this video was because, one, I had some time to make a coffee. But secondly, because I watched a video by Donkey, who's like one of the funniest video game video creators on YouTube. And I've been thinking about this for a long time. I had it in my list of things that I'd probably one day want to make a coffee video about in the future. The original video that I had been thinking about making was about the fact that I think it just gets harder and harder to put videos out there when you know more and more about your subject. You start to realize all the holes. Like, it's easy when you don't know much about the topic. It's okay to be wrong because I mean, it's not your fault that you're wrong. You're doing your best, but you just don't know all the information. But once you learn more about the ins and outs of the topic, say you're talking about fighting games, or you're talking about central processing units, or you're talking about graphics cards, you start to realize all the details, and you're like, okay, actually, I can't make a video about this today because it would take 2 weeks to do all the proper research that's required. Where maybe when you started your channel, you're like, okay, I don't know a lot about this topic, but I'm gonna make a video about it today anyway. So you feel kind of like inhibited by your own awareness of how little you know about the topic. Let's grind! So this video that Donkey put up was really interesting because it's one of his typical, like, he's talking about it in a jokey way, but he is actually kind of serious about the points that he's trying to make. And he's saying, like, there's just no point in him trying to make quality videos anymore because it's just too much effort. So he's just going to stick to making crappy videos, which, I mean, I very much doubt he's going to do. He's made such good videos for the past few years that, however many years his channel has been out. They're really entertaining, satirical, great pieces of comedy. The truth remains that it is just easier to make money and get views on YouTube if you just succumb to the lowest common denominator. And I think that the reason this is a thing on YouTube is because YouTube allows it. And it's not just up to YouTube whether they allow it, it's also just down to the ins and outs of copyright law, which is one of the main things that really needs to change for the modern era. Like, there's so many ways in which copyright law is not actually benefiting smaller creators, it's just being used by larger creators to get even more money and have more control over things that really, if they had less control, then more creative things would be possible as a result. But I digress. What I'm really trying to say is that there are a large number of things that are allowed on YouTube which are kind of disheartening for other creators. So for example, if you work really hard on a video, let's say it takes you 3 weeks to do the research for it, you come up with a script, that takes you about half a week, and then you film all the footage required to do it, and maybe that takes you a couple days, or maybe it takes you a week to just film all the footage to do it. And it comes together and it's like a 15-minute video, and you get, I don't know, 100,000 views on it, and you're like, yes, my video did really, really well. And then someone else comes along and just watches your video, and they commentary over the top of it. Now, I think going by the current copyright laws, and I mean, I'm still not 100% sure how fair usage works, but I'm pretty sure, like, you can't watch a Hollywood movie because you can only show like up to 10% of the footage of the movie. Otherwise, you'd be, infringing on copyright for just showing someone else's movie. But for some reason on YouTube and Twitch, people don't follow those rules. And I'm not going to say that it's bad that people do that, because the truth is, as a result of people doing that, they create a piece of content that couldn't otherwise exist. And a lot of their fans are very happy that they get to see their favorite creator reacting to something that they may not have bothered to watch anyway. So as a result of this type of content being allowed on YouTube, and I'm talking about so-and-so reacts to so-and-so's video, and essentially like they just watch the entire video. Maybe it's a 3-hour stream, they just watch the whole thing. Or it's a 30-minute video, they just watch the whole thing. And maybe they're not even saying anything, they're just looking at the screen and going, that is funny. Oh, I disagree with that. And they are adding something to it, and they're adding their commentary to it. And so it is its own new product. But as the creator of the person who made the original thing, Like, you can't measure really how much effort went into it. So let's say that that one person who made the original video, maybe they only spent 10 minutes making the original video, and they're kind of like, yeah, it's fine, make a reaction video. I didn't work that hard on it anyway. But then for the people who are working in teams and they're using YouTube as their business, they're kind of like, whoa, we put weeks into that, and there was like 7 people involved, and we filmed it in other countries, and we went around places getting the special permissions required to do it. And all you did was just watch it and laugh at it a few times, and you didn't really add that much to it, and you get double the views, and this is exactly what will happen sometimes. Depending on the size and popularity of the YouTuber or the Twitch streamer or whoever, they will often get more views than the original content, which sounds like, okay, the original content creator should be glad because they're getting exposure, right? But exposure doesn't pay the bills, and exposure doesn't always translate to actual ad money coming in. And so, although this is one extra way to get more views on a video, that money is going to someone else. And basically, it's a very complex discussion. I don't think there's any specific right and wrongs about it. I just think it's a really interesting topic that needs to be sorted out. And the main reason that I think it needs to be sorted out is because it's disheartening for the original creator. When it's something like a video game, a lot of people are like, well, come on, they make millions of dollars making that game anyway. Let people make their own videos about it. And in a way, like, my channel does the same thing. I play Street Fighter, I play Under Night, I play Puyo Puyo, I play Toho games, I play loads of video games, and I'm benefiting from their product, and I'm adding my commentary, so I like to think that I'm making a new product out of it by making these new videos. But there are some games where it wouldn't be the case, right? What if I played one of these story-based games, like a visual novel, like, I don't know, Danganronpa, or, which is more of a mystery game, but like, I don't know, Clannad, or Steins Gate, or any of these visual novels. If you did a gameplay video where you basically read out the text of that, essentially you're just giving away the original product. There's like very little reason for people to go and actually buy the game and experience it themselves, because they can just watch your gameplay where you're basically not saying very much, and you might be saying a few things now and then. But those videos, it's harder to justify, and so there's tons of like gray zones here and there. So what I guess is really frustrating about this situation is the fact that if it's disheartening for the original creators, then they're going to eventually just say it's not worth making good content. And a lot of the vibrancy that was in the YouTube platform before, with, you know, people going, okay, I have a full-time job, but when I get home tonight, I'm going to put loads of effort into this video, and I'm going to make this thing, and I'm going to make it, hopefully get as many views as possible. But in the end, the actual views are higher on someone else's video, the person who just watches that person's video and does a reaction to it. And I really want to state this. I don't think it's right or wrong. I think, for example, in the case of rollback, if I made a video about rollback, I would probably want everyone to do a reacts to the video about rollback, because then we spread the word about rollback. The point of the video was to spread the word about better netcode in fighting games, because it makes everybody's lives better. But let's say I was doing like a funny skit, like Keith does hilarious video game skits where he pretends to be the different video game franchises and they're all reacting to each other. If I did a Twitch stream and I just watched Keith videos, and that Twitch stream got thousands of viewers and tons of donations, and it just feels bad, because we know that the original creator had put loads of effort into thinking about the skit, thinking about the jokes, editing it, filming it, and also just being a person growing up, and like that person's jokes and comedy come from years of growing up as a person, right? So it's not clear cut. In some cases, maybe the original creator does want you to make reaction videos to it, but not in all cases. So we need to like have rules that are not blanket rules, but I still don't know what those rules are and what they're going to be in the future. All right, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that although I've been doing this channel for a long time, like it's probably 5, almost 6 years running the NihongoGamer channel, I just felt like, you know, the more that I got to know my topic, the more difficult it became to make videos about it, because as soon as I would start thinking about a topic, I would realize how little I knew about it, or how much more research would be required for me to make like a responsible video about it. And so actually I would say in the past 2 years or so, I've been really transforming my content into more research and more thought out, and definitely, in my opinion, videos that have more value than the stuff that I was doing right at the start, which was essentially to unbox things that you could only buy in Japan. And I still think that there's value in that, but I don't feel like they have as much of a contribution to society as the videos where I'm able to actually think about a topic and open up a discussion or spread some news about a certain type of netcode, or to show everyone about this new fighting game that I think is exciting and maybe everyone should also be trying it, because the more people who get into playing it, the easier it is to find matches. So I guess I feel a little more responsibility when it comes to making videos. But the truth is, it's the opposite in terms of getting views, right? On YouTube, it's actually getting harder and harder for that kind of thought out content to get views because of the larger insurgence of videos that maybe it's just the quality that people don't require. I don't know, a 30-second clip of some dog walking over to a door looking lonely, and then the clip ends, or someone just watching someone else's video and reacting to it by, I say reacting, but really they're not saying very much at all. They're just watching the video, because essentially what they're doing is they're copying the video onto their channel, which is monetized, and they're able to get views and money off it. And again, there are some cases where maybe the original content creator wants people to do that, but it's not always the case. They're gonna get tons of views and money, and basically very few of those people need to watch that video again, because it's not a video game. It's not something that they can go back to and experience for themselves, and it will be different. Essentially, they watched your video, but on someone else's channel, and now there's really no need for them to visit the original channel and go and watch it. As opposed to something like a video game, where if you see someone else play it, then when you buy the video game, inevitably you're going to end up moving your character around differently and having a different experience. But the reason that I think this is a little bit worrying is that if we just say, okay, look, forget the original creators, let people make whatever they want to make, and if it gets the views, good for them, because they're smart. They figured out how to play the YouTube algorithm game and get the most views out of content on YouTube. The problem is, if it's so disheartening to put up a video that you worked hard on, or you made a video that has, objectively higher quality than a lot of the other stuff out there that is getting more views. For example, I don't know, a really annoying tune being played on loop for 10 hours. And that's fine. Look, people can make whatever videos they want. What I'm saying is, if we keep promoting these videos, then even more and more people will watch it, and that video will just get tons and tons of momentum, while other videos where people are working really hard on the content are not getting any momentum. And if it's disheartening enough, eventually those people will probably quit. Those creators who work hard on content will eventually just give up and say, look, it's not worth it anymore. I would rather just spend my 2 days of the weekend with my family, because the YouTube channel, it can no longer sustain itself as a side project. All right, time to taste some of this Nicaragua. Let's taste it. It's somewhere between molten caramel and a Werther's original. Listen, it's not that I'm trying to say that the quality of content has gone downhill completely on YouTube. If anything, people have turned it into businesses. People who used to do this on the weekends have decided to go full time, and as a result, they make more videos, they make longer videos, they make more interesting videos, and then they also increase in size as a company, right? A lot of these people who used to be one person in their bedroom are now 2 people in an office, and some of them are 7 people in a large office, and then others of them are 30 people working in a building, and they're running their own multi-channel network. The scalability is quite impressive on YouTube. If you want to do it small scale, if you want to do it large scale, it can all work. And I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing if people all get bigger and go into companies. But what does happen is that if it becomes harder to compete, if you're a small channel, it's just disheartening. And I see it a lot, especially in fighting games, because I play a lot of fighting games, and I've ended up playing a lot more fighting games on this channel than I ever planned to. But you see other creators start their channels and they work really hard. They're either making really educational content, they're making very entertaining content, They're making content that other people just can't make because they're able to go to tournaments and actually speak to people who are actually in these places, or they're sharing ideas that no one else knows because they've spent years and years honing their craft. So you see it a lot in fighting games. I would say over the past year or two, we're getting a lot more recognition from the channels that used to have really low views and really low subscriber counts. But I think YouTube is either, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or what, but they seem to be giving more attention to fighting game channels than maybe they used to before. So I think that's, I mean, I've noticed that as a positive thing, and it's really nice to see the channels that have been working hard for years to start to get more recognition for their work. And the fact that even though the views weren't coming in, they just kept making videos, they kept doing it, and now it's really paying off. But it's not that way for all of the channels. There are still a large number of not just fighting game channels, but channels that are really plowing away at the content that they made, and it's getting better and better in quality. You know, these people are doing even more research, and they're doing better edits, and they're getting higher quality microphones and better quality cameras. And it's just a shame that a lot of these smaller channels, even though they're getting better and better and better at what they do, and they're offering more and more value and higher quality information and better research and more responsible information, those are not the videos that are getting as celebrated. It's like, no matter how well people hone their craft, the attention tends to go to the channels that are exploding about recent drama or watching someone else's content. Like, it tends to change over time, and sometimes YouTube will get onto it and they'll stop promoting the videos that are kind of vacuous holes that just suck in people but don't actually offer any content. But in the interim, before they've actually changed the algorithm to move it towards higher quality content, like in that interim, there are still ways to play the algorithm to get tons of views and get people in, even though like you're not really offering very much. Like before, I think if you made a clickbait style thumbnail, people would click in, realize that this is not actually what they wanted, and then they would leave immediately. And YouTube would flag that as, okay, this video is clearly not accurate to the thumbnail, so we're going to stop pushing it in the algorithm. But I think it's actually gone the other way again. It's actually gone back to, okay, if someone clicks in, then even if they leave immediately, like that video is still going to get tons of momentum. And I don't know why they've done it, and the only reason that I can think of is, well, it's a business, and maybe just as long as the views are going up, then it's, you know, they can still tell to the advertisers. They're like, yo, look, we've got all these videos that have like 30,000 views or 80,000 views. That's tons, like that's great influence if you want to put your advertising on this video. Yes, YouTube will continue to increase in size, and the large channels that have turned this into a business, they will probably continue to thrive. But the channels that used to offer some really excellent videos, really entertaining videos, really informative videos, you're going to see, I think, a large number of them start to disappear just because the algorithm doesn't push their content as well. It would be nice if like the algorithm pushed quality, informative content as well as the big, large, clickbaity stuff. But I just don't think that they do push both types of channel equally. They're just kind of like, okay, look, if you didn't increase in size and become a large company that does this in a team with script writers and editors and videographers and cameramen and everything separate, they're kind of like, okay, well, you're going to get left behind, and well, this is no longer the platform for you. I think there's a limit to what a platform can do because legally, these videos are still totally fine. I mean, if it looks like copyright law, nobody cares about people just stealing each other's videos and just watching them completely from start to finish, which I'm pretty sure doesn't fall under fair use. But they just, you know, watch a video from start to finish, sort of react every now and then, and that seems to be fine and no one gets in trouble for it. And then those videos get tons of views. So it's like, okay, big whoop. But, you know, just whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't even really matter. Just, I think a large number of smaller channels that used to make excellent content are just going to get fed up and it's like, okay, well, you know what? It's not worth it anymore. You know, I still don't think I have a fully formed opinion about it, but I do think that this is a difficult platform to create good quality content on. again, not just looking at my own channel. I'm mostly thinking about other people's channels and watching how they've been going up and down. And I really do think that the algorithm is just, sometimes it's just out of control. And gauging from even what the YouTube feed keeps trying to show me, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just begging and pleading so much to promise the answers to all these things, but then it turns out to be like a half an hour video where there was like, I don't know, a 30-second discussion at the end of it, which was vaguely related to the title, but it's like the first 29 minutes was literally completely unrelated to what was written in the thumbnail and the title. Like, essentially, I still don't really have a fully formed opinion of it, but over the 6 years or so that I've been doing YouTube, like, I just find that as a creator that doesn't have any intention of turning into like a large company with an office and staff and all that, I just think that this type of channel will just slowly disappear. I think this channel and other channels like it just gets harder and harder to compete. One, in terms of quality, just because everyone is doing it so professionally. But secondly, just because of the way that the algorithm really pushes content that doesn't require any effort at all. Or it's not that it doesn't require effort. I mean, it might still require effort, but it's like so piggybacking on the effort of other people that it just feels kind of pointless to put any effort into making good quality content, because if it's just going to get stolen and other people are going to get the credit for it anyway, then it's like, what is the point? I think for a large company, maybe you can justify that because you're like, okay, well, it doesn't matter. We're shilling out tons of videos all the time anyway. And so as long as people learn about our company, maybe then eventually they'll come and watch our new videos. But for small creators that aren't making videos every single day and long videos every single day and just don't have the time to do more than a single video every week, then if the experience of making quality content becomes thankless, then don't be surprised when you see a large number of smaller creators who were making great content for your platform just slowly disappear because it's just not worth it. Personally, I don't have any intention to go away. Like, I've just been running the channel the way I have done this whole time, and mostly because it's just fun to do. It's an excellent platform where I can reach out to people who are interested in the sort of thing that I'm interested in. Like, if I'm interested in a game, I'll make videos about it. If I'm interested in buying a product, I'll go and buy it. And if I'm interested in telling people whether it was good, I'll make a review. I'm in a privileged position where this is not my main thing. I have a normal job and I do this on the side. But I realize that's a privileged position. Not everyone is in that position. But I think for the platform on the whole, it will just be a loss overall to watch good creators, good, responsible, well-informed, well-researched creators disappear from the platform just because they're not getting like the recognition that they deserve. And the recognition is going to all these other places with clickbaity thumbnails and vacuous content and just content that just thieves and just rips other channels by watching their entire video from start to finish. At the end of the day, I don't like to say what's right and wrong. All I like to think about is what is the result. And I think the end result is that people who make great content on a smaller basis, like they're only a one-person operation, if they feel like it is no longer worth their time doing it, because even though they're putting all this time into it, they're getting less recognition out of it, and all the recognition is going somewhere else to a channel that like stole it, then those creators are going to walk away, and the whole platform is going to be a poorer place for it because there'll just be less of that great content there. But anyway, that's all I have to say about it. I just happen to be making a coffee and watching a donkey video and then thinking about my own channel and how it's getting harder and harder to make content just because the more that I think about it, the more I realize I don't know about stuff, and then there's more pressure to do like 2 weeks of research before I actually make a video on the topic because I don't want to be wrong, and I've been doing it for a little while, and it's just like I don't have the excuse of, oh, I didn't understand, because, well, I have no excuse, like I should understand by this point. And it just gets harder and harder to do on a casual basis. So it's almost like you grow and grow and grow, but then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, if you're not doing it professionally anymore, you're actually better off just not doing it at all. And it's like, that is a difficult position to be in. But what do you think? is quality falling on YouTube, or on the whole is quality going up? And although people are stealing videos, maybe those reactions are really, really funny and you're very grateful to those creators who do watch other people's videos from start to finish and add a little commentary to it, because of course, by doing so, they're creating a product that would not have existed otherwise. Personally, I'm on the side that thinks that if too much of that is allowed and celebrated and promoted algorithm-wise, that eventually the people who make the great content to start with are just going to slowly disappear and the whole platform as a whole is going to suffer as a result. But I'm curious to hear what you think. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments section below. Of course, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button. I sometimes stream here on YouTube, but I'm also streaming on Twitch, so kind of experimenting with both platforms, seeing which one I prefer. And if you want to be part of the NihongoGamer community, we talk about video games all the time on the Discord. There's a link below. If you don't know what Discord is, it's kind of like a large number of chat rooms with some organizational features, but also the ability to find other people who play the game that you do. Maybe it's a very niche game that you play, and you want to find other people to play online matches with them. Click the link on Discord below, click the Discord link below, and you can join us and find other people to play games with. And if you're not following me on Twitter, there's a link to that below as well. So that's all for now. I'll see you all in the next NihongoGamer video.